Howdy boys, it's NPC and in today's video, we are back with another themed garage tour. And the theme for today's video is going to be blue. Of course, I'm sure you guys could have guessed. The red garage tour actually popped off. You guys seem to really like that one. So we're bringing it back with another popular color. Everyone's got a blue car, so hopefully you guys find this relatable. I feel like blue and orange are like the colors that everyone has. Before we hop into things, drop a like if you guys enjoyed the video. That lets me know that I'm doing something right and I should keep doing these. First on our list is the Fister Astron, which is based on the Porsche Cayenne, I believe. You see these things in real life driving around all the time. They're great looking vehicles, and I think Rockstar did a really good job integrating it into the game. I think this looks almost exactly like the car in real life. I think the only thing that's a little funny about it is that the back is like super, I don't know, like that section with the between the roof spoiler and the lower spoiler, it just sticks out so much. Like it doesn't need to go out that far. I understand that maybe this was built to be a little more race-like, which is why it had so many options kind of like geared towards making it into a race thing, and then the liveries were all race themed as well. So I kind of like threaded the needle. I thought this vehicle would look really nice in just a solid clean build, something that you would see off the street but maybe tuned a little bit. So we have black wild wagons on it. We've got the livery on it to drip it out a little bit. And this car actually is not blue. Maybe you guys would have guessed it was like a harbor blue or something, but I did go with a stone silver instead with a surf blue pearlescent, and it looks blue. It looks beautiful. This is a very like Porsche aesthetic. Unfortunately, I'm on PC, so I don't have the HSW upgrades. I don't know much about it. I don't know if it changes the visuals at all. So I did what I could, and I think it turned out pretty good. Up next, if you guys saw my recent customization, we have the Benefactor Glendale. I think this is a super sick color combo with gasoline green, which is basically blue, and gold rims. I just think the Glendale it's such a sick looking car. It's just very crisp. Not a whole lot of customization options. This is not the Benny's upgraded version. This is just the standard Glendale, and I think it looks so good. I'm not sure if whether or not you upgrade the lights to xenon, if that changes like the headlight colors, but I wanted to go with yellow so that it matched the rims a little bit more. So I just left them with the stock headlights. But overall, the car just has a ton of really clean chrome trimming everywhere, and it's shaped really nicely. Yeah, it's just a cool car. Up next is another customization you guys may have seen recently. It's the Bestia GTS. This car is, like actually looks so amazing. This is a really underrated vehicle for the looks. I don't know why. I don't know why more people don't drive this thing. It's not like the best vehicle in the world. It's not like outstandingly spectacular when it comes to racing or anything. It's a pretty cheap sports car, and it serves as a really good free mode like driver, you know. Gets you from point A to point B. No outstanding issues, no oversteer, no understeer, no heavy wheel spin or anything. It's not as light as a feather. It's like the perfect sports car. If you guys want to see me talk about it a little more, you can go check out that customization. But as for the color combination, I think this is like, I want to say this is a Saxon blue, and then I have an ice white pearlescent on it. That's a very like old school style of customizations that I did, where I would take a color and you just slap on ice white, and it kind of like coats it with like this glazed effect. It looks good with literally every single color. And then I went with desert tan high five rims because they're very explosive rims. They take up a lot of space. It's very Ferrari like, and I think this is I just think I did such a good job, because it's like, of course Ferraris are going to be red, right? So I have a red variant of that, but I wanted to mix it up a little more and try out some new ideas that I've learned by customizing more cars, such as golden rims, or I guess like browner, tanner, creamier colored rims. Oh, they just look so good. Next up, we have a classic JDM car. It's the Annis Heroes, also known as the Nissan 350Z. Or maybe it's the 370Z. I don't really know. But when I was younger, I had a toy, like a model toy car that was a blue Nissan 350Z. And unfortunately, I traded it for a Hot Wheels car that was like from the movie. I don't know if you guys have seen Hot Wheels World Race. It's called the Diora 2. I'll throw a picture of it up on screen, but it was like a little normal sized Hot Wheels car. It was just the movie edition, and it's worth they're worth about the same. I think the model of the 350Z, which was like much bigger, it was probably like a foot long or something. That $30 value car was worth the same as this like 2-inch Hot Wheels car. and I was just in love with Hot Wheels when I was a kid. So I made that trade, and I kind of regret it because it was a gift from I want to say it was like a gift from my uncle or something, and I was kind of a stupid kid. I was like 6 or 7, so it is what it is. I still have the Hot Wheels car, so you know, I guess you live and you learn. But anyway, that model car, it was a blue like this, and I tried to replicate it the best I could. I think I had chrome rims, but I really wanted to go with like these endos in particular because, well, one, they have that chrome trimming, and then I darkened it a little bit to make it stone silver instead of like alloy. And you can't like fully chrome out these wheels like you can for some of the other categories, because this is from the new tuner or street rim section. I forget exactly which one, but I did my best to model after that, and it doesn't look too bad. I will say it's a little off. The 350Z in this game I don't think is replicated super well, especially in the rear end. Like, why are the lights so far inwards on the car? It bugs me a little bit. But next up, we have the Fister Comet S2 Cabrio. I was originally going to do one of these in yellow for my first customization, and then I saw one of the liveries that was like super race-like in red, and it had these cool like headlight covers, so I changed it to black and red, made it really aggressive. But I do think that the S2 Cabrio is supposed to be a cruiser car. That's the whole point of it, being able to put its top down. It's supposed to be so that it's a cruiser car. So for this one, I went with a surf blue with like an ultra blue pearlescent, and then just clean black Mercy concave rims. It's a very crisp looking car. I didn't mess with the bumpers at all because a lot of the stock options on this vehicle look really good already. Like, there's no other front bumper that has those the Porsche lines like right there in the center of my screen, like these under the headlights. Yeah, the back of this vehicle looks amazing as well. I think the Comet S2 and the Cabrio version are just spectacular looking vehicles. I just wish some of the customization was a little better. It has a decent amount of customization options. They just don't look that great because the stock option is like the best one to make it look good. Like, Rockstar has been on their trend of adding more like realistic versions of cars recently, and I feel like when you pick other customization options that aren't stock on this vehicle, it looks more like a, in quotes, GTA vehicle, like the 350Z right there. The performance is a little weird, but not the worst thing in the world. And last on this floor is a classic. I'm sure you guys all know this vehicle. It's the Entity XF. This is the first like cool overflawed vehicle in the game. Nowadays, I don't think it holds up visually. It's a very like 2013-esque looking car. It looked super sick. Like, this is the vehicle that me and a lot of my friends chose after playing story mode. Like, if you could buy a car once you had enough money after doing heists and whatnot, this was the vehicle. You paint it in ultra blue because it looks great. And so this was a little bit more of a nostalgia build. Not a whole lot of customization on this thing. I threw on options where I could. That's like the only front bumper, side skirt, rear diffuser, and spoiler that you can add. So it's pretty much as modded as it can be, but I did want to throw on some new rims, and I thought the Wild Wagons in black looked great. It's a very boxy looking vehicle compared to nowadays Koenigsegg's in GTA, but that's okay. It's literally a decade older, so if Rockstar wasn't making them look better, I'd be concerned. The Entity is actually pretty quick off the line. It's faster than, I don't know about every overflawed vehicle, like right off the bat, like off the line. It doesn't hold up top speed wise, but we did some drag races that you guys may or may not have seen in short form, where the Entity XF just like books it for the first like half runway, and then it gets overtaken. But it's cool how fast this vehicle accelerates for being such an old car. That's gonna wrap it up for the first floor. If I had to pick some favorites, I would probably say, you know, these two, of course. And I think I actually did a really good job with the Astron. I was surprised at how well it turned out. It's just a very like realistic looking Porsche, you know? But anyway, let's move on to floor 2. Starting us off on the second floor is the Ennis Savestra. This vehicle is like a combination of a whole bunch of different tuner vehicles, but it looks really cool. I like the size. I'm a big fan of small vehicles. I just feel like they have a really nice aesthetic, and this thing doesn't go overboard with you know, trying to look all cute and stuff. It's just a miniature, like, it almost just looks like a miniature Mustang mixed with like a BMW, like a little more on the front end. But this vehicle was the product of my first ever customization battle against Harmnun. This was probably like a year and a half ago, so my channel was non-existent. His channel was probably like 20k subs or something, and we never announced the winner, so I doubt he still has his Savestra. I'm actually really curious about that. Maybe we'll have to go check out that customization battle. But I ended up going with a light blue, it looks like. Rim choice. I do like the tire thickness. That's probably what I was going for. It's been so long, so I'm kind of just trying to like pick my own brain. I probably really like the tire thickness. I thought it suited how small the car was. It has like little stubby legs. That like mesh, that actual like rim choice. I'm not sure I agree with that. That looks very odd. But overall, I think the build was supposed to be pretty clean looking. It almost looks Western. Like this is like a modern Cowboys spin on a whatever mix of cars this is supposed to be. That's just the theme that I'm getting. It's probably the light blue. This is a very like Western looking blue. Next up, we have the Obermatt Sentinel, the topless version. I thought the Sentinel was such a sexy vehicle when I first started playing GTA, especially from the back end. The front end is a little boring, I guess, now, but you know, but 7 years ago, it looked pretty cool, obviously. I was trying to hunt for one of these for so long because, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you couldn't get like the topless version by buying it. You had to only get it off the street. And I didn't understand car spawn rotation, so I would just like, Harmon and I, we would just like go around looking for topless Sentinels for hours. And finally I got one, and I've never sold it. I've had this in a few colors, red, but of course it's a BMW and it looks great in blue. This is a Saxon blue, and I threw on that new rim with the super mesh. I don't remember what it's called, but pretty sick car with the top down. I wish the front was a little more detailed, but I never drive this thing. But that's okay, because its job is just to like sit there for nostalgic purposes and look pretty. Speaking of nostalgia, this is a Trifade adder that I modeled after Harmnun's very first adder. If you guys don't know, Harmnun's favorite vehicle in the entire game is the Trifade adder, and now his like, I guess like iconic theme, like the Harmnun adder is like a dark blue, I think, and it doesn't have the pinstripes on the hood. But back when he was carrying me to my first like 100 levels and, you know, helping me make money and stuff by farming trash talk, he would always call his adder, and it looked just like this. The only thing that maybe was different was the rims. Maybe they were like cheetahs. I don't exactly remember, or maybe they were like the carbonic Z's. It was something carbon, and I thought the solars looked really good, so I did my best with that. But I know for sure it was blue with an ice white pearlescent and black stripes. The adder is a super sick vehicle. Wish I had more customization, but it has a very nice like base classic GTA car. Everyone loves the adder. Speaking of favorite vehicles, next up we have the Ocelot XA21, which is my favorite car in all of GTA Online. It's just such a sleek, sexy looking vehicle. Like, look at it. Oh my god, the curves are placed so well. It's just like, this vehicle is art. It's got an active spoiler. It's got gold doors. It's like the best sounding car in the game. And on top of that, while it's not like suitable for racing or anything, it's a very comfortable drive. It's just such a pleasant experience. It doesn't oversteer, it doesn't understeer, it's not slow to accelerate, it's not slow to brake, its top speed isn't terrible. Like, when I just think of like balance, it's this vehicle. And that's what makes it such a good driving experience. It's not all that expensive of a vehicle. I would definitely go grab one of these. If you guys don't have one, I vouch for this in so many of my videos. It's made its way to a few of the top 10s. Yeah, it's just a beautiful vehicle, especially with the Segoys. The Segoys, like, cherry on top for this vehicle. I did have a red version of this at one point, but I think the midnight blue with the blue pearlescent is just like way too clean. It looks amazing. And I'm never going to sell this car. So another absolutely beautiful customization that I've done is the Overflawed Entity MT. This was the winner of the Entity MT customization battle that we did with Harmon and Twingo. I pulled up with a Mariner Blue, black Segoys, and a two-tone with, of course, the extended wing, because like it's so cool. I think what really won though was the pinstripe. It's like so crisp looking on this vehicle. It's like it's built for this. This is what the car is supposed to be. It's a very like flowy vehicle. Like, if you're gonna take a supercar onto like a beach highway and you're just gonna be cruising down next to the ocean, it's gonna be this one. A lot of the features are very soft, and so the pinstripe just added a little bit more like texture, a little bit more crispness to the vehicle. And I don't want to say Harmon and Twingo's customizations for their MTs weren't good. I just think the Mariner Blue with all of the like the soft edges on this vehicle captured the essence of what the Entity MT is supposed to be. Next up, we have a classic that I've had in my garage, I don't know, maybe like 7 years at this point. This is one of my oldest vehicles for sure. It's the Sultan RS. Unfortunately, I got it a little bit after it wasn't the fastest supercar in the game anymore. I joined right when like the T20 and Osiris were on their way out. But the Sultan is a beautiful car and always will be a beautiful car. It has so many customization options. I went for a very like tuner street-like build. Obviously a lot of carbon accenting where I could. The rims are just, the spindles from Benny's are such a cool rim choice. I absolutely love it. I wish the wings in this vehicle were a little better, but I think it kind of fits the build that I was going for, especially with all the carbon add-ons on the front and the bolt-ons. It's very aggressive looking, you know. You can see a lot of the inner workings of this car, and I think it makes for a cool looking vehicle. I wish more cars had headlight covers, like you can see right here. It changes the shape of the eye. Looks really good. And the very last vehicle we have on floor 2 is the Lampadati Corsita with this really nice black and blue build. All of the liveries on this vehicle are really pretty actually, and there's just a lot of good color placement on this car in general. Aside from the wing, I guess that was my one big gripe. The wing could either use like a shape rework or like, I don't know, I think it needs to be better ingrained into the car. It's not horrible now. I think that's because the car, it's like a race car Corsita, you know, like it looks messy and the wing is not big, so it just looks, it like blends in a little better. But for like a street build, I think the wings are really hard to incorporate. The grill also, I don't know if I'm a huge fan of the shape of the mouth. I think it's very strange. But overall, the Corsita, pretty cool vehicle. It's just really bouncy. It's essentially like the Italia GTO's little brother. It's like a slightly worse clone. No offense to little brothers. Obviously, it's black and blue. For the secondary, I went with a Saxon blue because I thought that was the closest I could get it to this blue without it like overtaking it, because I was thinking about going for like an ultra blue as well. That one was a little too aggressive, but I think this one turned out pretty good. My favorites from floor 2, probably something like between these ones all just have very special places in my heart. That's what it is. These are all like, I've made some type of memory with each one of these vehicles. I also do think that, I don't know, visually they're all a little more my style, a little softer on the eyes. Like this one it's pretty aggressive looking on the front. But of course, my absolute favorite vehicle is the XA21. And starting us off on our third and final floor is the Yuga Classic. I kind of just did a simple white and surf blue build. It's not anything special. There's very limited customization because this is the unupgraded Yuga Classic. However, I think it's one of my favorite vans in the game because it's so cute. It's so like, it's got the surf aesthetic down, you know? Like if I were gonna go surfing and like get a camper van, it would definitely be something like this. And I didn't touch the rims at all because I thought these with the white walls it looks good. Up next, we have the Dinka Kanjo SJ. This is, in my opinion, one of the coolest customizations that I've ever done. I don't know why, I just think it looks so fucking cool. This is like, it's kind of like the Entity MT where this captures the essence of like a tuner Honda. Of course, it's stanced. I feel like Honda Civics, especially really old ones, like maybe like 20 years ago, they come in kind of funky colors. Like the red, like, you know, they could come in like red, but it's like, maybe just because the cars are old at this point and the paint's like wearing down. But I feel like you would definitely see a Honda in one of these colors, which is not a very orthodox color. This is gasoline green with, I think it's a gasoline green pearlescent as well. And then I've got gold hyperfreshes that might be like some other shade of brown, but it just looks gold, so I'm gonna go with gold. And I think the color contrast between these two looks amazing. This vehicle has a ton of cool liveries, but I just went with something simple because I couldn't decide, and I went with the shopping list. Shopping list always makes for really cool JDM cars and just like street tuner cars in general. The front, I tried to make the mouth look a little like cuter because I guess it can look grandpa-esque, or it gets like the wrinkles on the cheeks from smiling after 50 years. And then for the wing in the back, I kept it a low-key spoiler. It fits. It looks so good. It looks really good. It's like ingrained into the car. I love this customization, even though this car is an absolute piece of shit if you're getting it for the purpose of anything aside from drifting. Because for like a drift vehicle, it's a pretty good drift vehicle. It's front wheel drive, feels terrible, but it makes it really easy to kick the back end out. And I think once you kick the back end out, it's also really easy to control. Even though I kind of don't like driving it, if I'm ever going to drift, I'm probably going to pull out this vehicle. And I think it looks really pretty just sitting in the garage. So I know I had one of these in my red garage as well, but we have a Tropos Rally once again. It's kind of like a Mario Kart. It's like the standard kart, you know. I feel like especially with the the gold rims where they have like the little yellow tires with the colored kart. It's just Mario Kart and GTA. Absolutely love driving the Tropos Rally. Very snappy, but it kind of like, it does like to correct itself and stick to the ground, so it makes for a nice driving experience. Pop-up headlights are very cool, and I like that it's a little tiny boy. But I do have 2 of these, and I thought this one looked really good as well, and it was like worthy of making the garage, so I threw it in. Next up, we have the very first 811 that I customized like 6 years ago, back when the 811 was actually the fastest car in a straight line. I've got this in a nice diamond blue, and then I have some S Carbon Racers, I think is what this one is called, for the rims. Not really sure that the chrome aged super well, but I don't think it's a terrible mix because the diamond blue is so light on the vehicle. I wish the 811 had a little more customization because it is a beautiful looking car. Maybe if they updated it, added a new variant of the 918 Spider, because oof, it is a sexy car. I think Fister is due for another top tier supercar. It's been a long time. Up next, we have the Vapid FMJ. This is one that I customized also a really long time ago. Back when it dropped with Finance and Felony. It's based on the 4GT. I tried to copy that the best that I could. I just went for a nice solid blue. Unfortunately, the spoiler options were they're all like really mid, because the 4GT is pretty much just like it connects between the headlights, and that's how the car comes stock. But if you want the traction bonus, you have to upgrade it, and you have to add you could add a ducktail or something, but I guess I was upset and I threw on a big wing. I'm not gonna say it's the best looking choice ever, but I don't think it's a horrible choice either, because the car slants downward in the back and gets very low, so this kind of like helps elevate it and gives it that like ramp triangular shape where it's smaller towards the front end and bigger towards the back end that a lot of nice looking cars have. And then I have no clue what this rim option is. 5 spokes, not a terrible choice, but it's probably due for an update. But for nostalgic purposes, I customized a new one kind of recently. This one is not getting changed. I just wish I had more customization, or like maybe the 4GT was just like, if they added a realistic option of the 4GT, I think so many people would buy it. But the front here is like an Aston Martin. This is not a 4GT. The back is, but like this is this looks like the Ducati Champion, which is actually an Aston Martin. They just like copy pasted it. A little disappointing, but it is what it is. Our second to last vehicle is the Imponti Dukes. I was obsessed with the Imponti Dukes before, back when it was exclusive to just players who moved over from like 360, I think. Back when the 360 was like the main console, this car, when you moved your account onto like PC, was only available to those players, I believe. And then they finally released it, and it was still free for those players, but at least you could buy it. So I did end up buying one. I think this car is so good looking. I think the color placement looks amazing, and the car is just shaped really well. It's just stanced nicely, you know. It's a little long, but I think it's very fitting of the vehicle, especially since the back end gets like raised up. But in my red garage, I did have a Duke of Death that was Cabernet Red and Chrome. That's a very good color combo in this vehicle, but it looks better on the Duke of Death than it does on the Duke. So for this one, I kind of like, I just inverted the colors and came out with a very nice standard blue with black as its secondary color. The very last vehicle that we have in our garage is the Dominator GTX, which is supposed to be a newer Mustang. When the car dropped, I was a huge fan, and then I learned that it had engine resistance, and then I was really disappointed because Rockstar was on some trend of giving engine resistance to cars that really just don't need engine resistance. You're just like, if the car is better, more people are gonna buy it. I don't know why you would limit yourself like that, but very aggressive looking vehicle. The more I look at it, the less I like it almost, because I think the hood just extends too far. It's almost like Frankenstein-like with how protruding the forehead is. But other than that, I think the front has really nice shape. I think the headlights look super cool. The body is thick, it's a little bulky, and I think it's suiting of the vehicle. The back looks amazing as well. The only big complaint that I have with the rear end is that all of the exhaust options that aren't stock are incredibly ugly. They're so gross. And then of course for spoilers, I just added this little roof spoiler because the rest of them were all big wings. Doesn't look super good on Mustangs in my opinion, but we did this in ultra blue because ultra blue is just like, it's a Mustang color, you know. And then I went with a dew yellow pearlescent on it, and it creates a really nice shine. It's very refreshing. If I had to pick some favorites on this floor, it would probably be the Dukes and the Dinka Kanjo SJ. I love this vehicle. But that's going to wrap it up for our blue themed garage tour. Drop a like if you guys enjoyed, comment down below and let me know what you thought of the builds in this garage. Let me know what your favorites were. Let me know what kind of theme you would like to see next. I'll probably stick with the colors for a little bit, so let me know what colors you want to see. Drop a sub if you guys are new to the channel. There will be more like this coming out in the future, and that's about it. So take care, and I'll catch you boys in the next one. Peace!